show notes.
Hey, good evening, good evening, good evening, everyone. Come on in, come on in. As you are coming in, let us know that you are in the chat. Say hello to us in the chat section so that we know that you are here with us. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Come on in. I am your host, Dr. Michael Russ. I want to welcome you to part 3 of Tired of Dating, but Not Tired of Love. Hopefully you've had a good Tuesday thus far. Listen, again, as you come in, let us know in the chat that you are there so that we know that we have some friends here with us tonight. And so come on in. So as you're coming in, yes, please let us know where you are logging in from, your city or state, if you are so inclined to do that as well. I'm going to do this again as I did it part 2. I know I already see some returning individuals, but if you are, if you've been tracking with us, let's just say you've been a part of any of the first couple segments, if you will, then you could just put a 3 if this is part 3. But if this is your first time for any of these parts, just put a 1 in the chat so we know who we have here. But if you've been here for 1 or 2, and you're coming tonight, just put a 3 in the chat. But if this is your first time joining us for any part of this series, go ahead and put a 1 in the chat. Now, listen, help us to get the numbers up and get in the algorithm. We are live on YouTube, all right, Dr. Michael Russ. So you can watch us there if you want to watch on YouTube. But we are also live on Facebook. So we should be live on my Facebook page, which is Michael Russ. So again, if you want to share that video as well and help us get that out in the algorithm and get the traction up. And I always believe it is, I know Carrie's into digital marketing, maybe she has more insight, but I always think there's something psychologically is that if you text people to say, hey, join this live, I think it does something as well. Sometimes more than just a flyer, right? Or sometimes more than just, seeing something online. So if you will, send somebody a text message really quick. Now, listen, here's what I know. People love conversations about dating, love, relationships, marriage. And you know what? I'm going to just go ahead and say it. Social media tells on you. Social media tells on you. It tells what you like. It tells what you reposted. It tells what you reshared. So I know you like it. So do me a favor. Send somebody a text and say, hey, we're talking about dating. We're talking about relationships. All those things. Come join this conversation tonight. Why? Because it's real people and it's real stories, right? We will sometimes watch things online on social media and they're really gaslighting us, right? But we're tonight really giving you raw, fresh off the press responses and conversations. So again, if you will, text somebody, let them know, hey, there's a great conversation going on tonight about dating, relationships, love, and marriage. And then at the same time, if you don't mind, share the video on Facebook as well to let people know that we are live. That will help us as well to get in the algorithm and to spread the word to more people. All right. So thank you again. If you're coming in, say hello to us in the chat so we know that you're there. If you've been a part of any of the first 2 segments of this series, just put a chat so we know that this is your 3rd time tonight. That's okay. And if this is your very first time coming to this series, just put a 1 tonight. All right. And so I did see somebody put a 2 as well. If we want to be very specific, if this is your 2nd time, you could put a 2 as well. Okay. So just trying to make it easy for everybody. So listen, if you have been here for one of the other sessions, then you are familiar with these faces that are on the screen. But perhaps this is your first time. So I'm going to have these lovely individuals introduce themselves. And what they're going to do is they're going to tell you their names, where they reside, and they're going to answer this question right here, which is when it comes to a relationship or a partner, what is one quality that they value the most? As I've been doing, I'm going to start it off again with our resident OG, and we will then just jump into there, okay?
Hello, everyone. I'm Dr. Sonia tonight. I'm the designated therapist for the show. I'm not credentialed, but I do have experience. So I just want everybody to have a great night tonight. Something I value in relationship is I think just natural energy, like the give and take, like knowing how to not deplete a person and how to refill them. So that's something I do value. Like it's always going to be give and take and you pouring, but somebody who can refill you. That's what I value.
All right.
All right. Hey, everybody. I'm Sharmesia, Deanna, or Misi, for those who know me on here. Let's see. Something that I value in dating or a person, my person. I would say definitely consideration and being able to kind of not read minds, but just consider that, like, what somebody might need, a little forethought, because I think that that goes a long way, especially when it can be reciprocated. So consideration.
Consideration. All right. Love it.
Hello, everyone. My name is Carrie Harris. I am out here in sunny, not so sunny today, Los Angeles. Something that I value in relationships is support. Support goes both ways, whether it's something that your spouse or wants to do in their life, or even just with how they're feeling. So support is huge for me.
Okay. So if I have that correct, our designated therapist for the evening, Mr. Sonia, said natural energy. Did I get that correct?
Correct.
Okay. And then Misi said consideration, right? And then Carrie talked about support. All right. So listen, if you have been joining us at any point in time, we like to include you as well, the audience. So just drop in the chat as well. For you, when it comes to a relationship or a partner, what is one quality that you value the most? So let us hear from you as well there in the chat. And again, as you are coming in, please go ahead and help us to spread the word, if you will. We are live on YouTube, but we are also live on Facebook as well. So if you want to share the link, that will help us to get the numbers up and to get in the algorithms. And as I have already stated as well, if you don't mind, if you will text somebody and let them know, hey, there's an amazing conversation on about dating, relationships, love, and marriage. And hey, it's some just real people and everyday people sharing their experience. And so, hey, I think you might enjoy this conversation. So again, if you will, help us to get the numbers up. But I want to say that, first of all, let me thank you all for being here. I do see some familiar faces, some familiar names in the chat. So thank you, whether you joined us for this is the very first time, or you came to part one, you came to part two, and now you're back for part three. Thank you so much for being on the journey with us. Thank you to all of those who I saw comments on our posts. People have DM'd me as well. People have shared comments with others. and on where they thought the platform was, and the potential that it has. So thank you so much for watching the replay and all the feedback. Part 1 was about what's happening in dating. Part 2, we talked a little more about why it is happening in dating. And part 3, what we want to do is dig a little deeper tonight, and you're going to hear more from some of our own personal journeys. But again, as you are listening in on the chat, we also want you to share your journey. Now, let me say this. What is the vision of this platform, of this space? Because perhaps some of you are curious. You're like, is this just willy-nilly? On my personal page on Facebook, not my personal, but like the business page or whatever they call it, it's actually called All Things Dr. Russ, right? And some of you all may know me from a spiritual lens, right? But I have a friend or someone that says, I am a comma. And so many times people try to put a period behind our names, right? They try to put a period behind who we are or what we do, and they try to box us in, right? So you're going to see many different things from me, and this is just one of the many, what I would say, visions that I will be rolling out, right? So this platform, so you're going to still see us doing the Pursue series with prayer later this year. We've got some exciting things coming with that, but you're going to also be seeing more relationship topics, which I'll tell you about at the end. But the vision for this platform is I want to create a space where Christian singles can talk about their dating experience, right? And we can have honest conversations about dating, relationships, growth, the ups, the downs, the challenges. I don't know about you, but I don't have it all figured out. And I think that we can learn from one another. And then we can also find out, like, you know what? Oh, other people are going through that as well. Other people have that question or challenge as well. But beyond just curating a space for Christian singles, the heart behind this is twofold. And I want you to lean in here. I know that you see so much negativity about marriage on social media. It's trash, right? You see so many people getting a divorce. But here is my heart. I want to see more Christian millennials and Gen Z find healthy love, get married, and stay married. That is my heart. And I use the word millennials and Gen Z. I am a millennial, right? Being 38 years old, older millennial, now millennials is, you used to hear a whole lot about millennials, Carrie, but now you don't hear as much. But I want to see more millennials get married and Gen Z, right? And so this isn't about perfection. This is about progress. This is about introspection. This is about self-awareness. And this is about how do we build and become successful with relationships, okay? So I want to share that with you all so you know where we're going with this platform. That again, it's not willy-nilly. It's not one-offs, but we will be rolling more content out. And again, I'll share that with you at the end. So again, as you're coming in, thank you so much for being here. We appreciate you. If you will, you could text somebody really quick and let them know that we're on talking about dating, relationships, and love. And you can also help us share the information on social media as well. And that'll help us get in the algorithms there, and more people can see that we are live. All right. So listen, without further ado, let's jump right into it. And I have this first question that I am throwing out to the panel. So there is this noticeable trend right now that I am seeing on social media, Instagram, Facebook, and I even had some personal conversations with some young ladies where the idea is that many women are feeling like men are hesitating and in many cases not even approaching women at all. They're saying, I saw one video, Carrie, on IG. The young lady was in the gym, and I don't know if anybody saw it. And she moved from one equipment to the next, and she was saying how the men would stare you down but not say one word, right? So you know what I'm talking about. So they're saying there's clear interest, but they're not approaching. So my question to you tonight is, What do you think is behind that hesitation? But I'm going to specifically come to the young women, the ladies, the women that we have on the panel tonight and ask you, what has your experience been with this? And what are you seeing as it relates to men approaching, taking the risk, and expressing their interest with women, whether that be you directly or what are your girlfriends or your friends saying about this as well? I'm going to start with the ladies.
I can actually speak to this right away because this actually happened to me recently. I was at my friend's 40th birthday party, and it was a Jersey party. Like, everyone was hanging out, chilling, whatever. There was one particular that did approach me. The next day, my friend actually called me and said, I just had about 20 people, 20 men just ask for your number. They did not approach me at all. They did not approach me the entire time. And my thing is, I think part of it is intimidation. But the thing, I'm also in California. And the thing is, in California, a lot of women do approach. So they may even be used to women just approaching. She's not interested in me because of the fact. But mind you, I was by myself. I only knew my friend that was there. So I literally came myself. So they could approach. But I do think that part of it was the factor that they were intimidated, that even by myself, or they don't know how to approach a woman of certain calibers, because there are different calibers of women at times. It's just the stages of their life, if that makes sense. So yeah, that's my 2 cents.
Okay.
And I mean, I can definitely resonate with that and have heard. I mean, I've asked men, friends, about that. Like, there have been dialogues around that. Like, why don't men approach women anymore? And I haven't been approached very often. Usually, I'll be honest, the men that have approached me the most are old men. Like, they're old.
Okay.
And it's like, I mean, I'm not trying to knock them. Sorry, listen, but it's usually older men. And I don't know. So what I've heard from like millennial, like our age range or a little right above in the 40s, like mid 40s, 30s, is that men have been getting rejected a lot. Like, ghosting culture is pretty heavy. And then with so much of like, don't look at a girl wrong, don't touch her, don't do certain things. I've just heard a lot of caution around that, and then one thing I specifically heard was, that they're looking for a signal or some type of sign that it's okay. So one of my friends, he specifically, we had a real deep conversation about this. I'm like, dudes, men don't come approach. They don't go let me buy you a drink. Hey, how are you? And then the thing is, can you even carry a conversation? And usually people are pleasantly surprised. Oh, shoot, you know how to talk. You know how to talk about something other than, I don't know what people be out here talking about, but just like talking about something deeper, right? And so basically it was like, well, if you kind of think a guy's attractive, more than likely he wanted to approach you and win. But so give him a signal, give him some eye contact. What else did he say? Mostly give the eye contact and let him know, like, hey, yeah, you can approach me. So the biggest thing I've heard is men really would love a signal at this point in time. And then, like Harry said, a lot of women are now initiating, their interest. You see that a lot more. So I don't know, maybe that's why the tables have flipped, is a lot more women are going after what they want and see. And so there's just there's a big disparage. I mean, people don't even dance when they go out anymore. So yeah.
So listen, I want to hear from those of you in the chat, and I see some comments as well. I want to hear from some of the women that's in the chat. What have you noticed, or what has been your experience around this? Are men approaching? Are they not approaching? What are your thoughts on this topic as well? I'm going to come to our what is the name change? No, it's Dr. Shun. I don't know what the DTT stands for, but he's here. So nonetheless, I'm going to come to you and ask, obviously you're one male, I'm one male. We can't speak for all males. So and so, but what I want to ask you is, what's your thought, uh, a perspective on this, that women are saying, hey, men are not approaching us, they're not taking the risk. What have you heard maybe from some of your male friends? What are their concerns? Just speak to the topic at large.
I think what happens, most men want the alley hoop. We want the D Wade to LeBron, you know.
Yeah.
And what's happening is a lot of women are currently they're coming to the forefront. They're not to say they're feminine, but they're coming into what has been considered for years as masculine roles.
Mm,
So a man, again, don't want ego bruised and things of that nature. It was right what was said in the chat about fear of rejection. That's
yeah.
part of the game of it. And so not saying that we want it easy, but I think you know what? I'd rather not work hard, get let down. I'd rather get it easier and do the hard work after. And so that's why
Mm,
you're not seeing a lot of men just, how you doing? Because some women now is like, they'll clown you. They feel you thirsty if you approaching them. So it's
okay.
kind of like walk a straight line if you want to. You can easily get your feelings hurt. So I think the alley hoop is better. I'm an alley hoop guy. Like,
Okay.
yo, who my friend? Let me go to my friend through to get to that person. And I'm not gonna say it's my ego, but I don't got time to be rejected. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's what it is right now. They're closing the gap into what this new life is. And so I like to just say it's like a non-gender role life that we're living currently. So a lot is, it's equal territory.
Right.
And so, men, hey, sometimes like, oh, if you're my equal now, you know what? Hey man, listen, you holler at me first.
But
Let
I
me know
think,
it's real. Give me
but I,
consent.
I think even though while it's equal now, again, that I'm seeing so many posts though, where and I don't know, again, our ladies here can speak to it tonight, where the women are
Mm.
saying like, yeah, it's we're living in a non-traditional age, but
Mm-hmm.
actually I want you as the man to approach. Like I want you to take the risk. Like I don't want to have to do it, And so I feel like it's still the desire of saying, yeah, women are taking more initiative today, but
Uh-huh.
they're still saying like, I still want the man to approach. What would you any
I
other
think
lady?
Lisa is on point when she
Yeah.
said women want to be pursued, but it's a level of they only want who they want to pursue them.
Yeah,
Mika kind of
Mm,
said it. Hey, the men coming to me, but
yeah,
I ain't interested in them.
right,
So if you ain't her type, I'm gonna just say your outer book cover can get you canceled with a woman. But like if a woman learn from you from a friend, like, oh no, like he a good guy, blah blah blah, then she can start reading the foreword of your book and like, oh well, he ain't that bad. And that's how you get in. And now you hear women say he wasn't even my type. So if he approached her, he got probably knocked off instantly. But if he had the friend alley hoop him, oh yeah, he is my type. I just didn't get past his big belly, or I didn't get past his receding hairline type stuff.
right.
So it's a lot of stuff that happens where you want to get pursued, but you do want the right person. Like, yeah, a lot of people could be in your DMs, male or female, vice versa, and yo, you're not the one. And so you shy away from them. You looking like a lot of people just look for the glory up front. I don't think you need the glory up front. You need to get to know people and maybe
and
you will start finding the right person for yourself.
and I want to jump in. I want to hear from. I saw both of the ladies unmute their mics, so I do want to hear from them. But let me just jump in and say this, since you already kind of stole some of my thunder, and Elder Brown talked about women want to be pursued, and that's what I wanted to do as well. I wanted to bring some balance to the conversation, because me as a man, while I can hear women saying men are not approaching, can we just be honest tonight? Like, forget all the polish and all of that. Like, I think there are men who are approaching, and I want to be clear what I'm talking about. I'm talking about respectable men, right? Men that are building their lives, right? Men that are loving God, and maybe he doesn't make that 6 figures. And the truth of the matter is what you just said. Like, the men that are approaching, they're not being given a chance, right? They're not even being considered, and they're automatically being friend zoned. So I think it's important that we talk about this from both perspectives, right? Like, acknowledge both realities, because again, it's easy to say the men are not approaching, but if you automatically put somebody in the friend zone, and I'm going back to something that I've been alluding to throughout the series, which is healthy, non-committal interests. And I just don't think we do it right. And so again, I think we've got to really talk about both sides. And I saw Mika say, yeah, the men be approaching. I'm not just interested. And obviously she could share more, but I think there is the reality that both sides do exist. And I wanted to share that. So go ahead. I want to hear from the ladies.
I think I'm a little different. So when it comes to, and it could be because of my age, but when a man has to go through another man to get to me, it actually, when you had the opportunity, it actually turns me off. That's when I'm gonna usually reject you. Like, for me, if you approach me and we just had a conversation, and then next thing you know, you're like, hey, can I have your number? That's actually what happened when I was at that party. And I gave him my number, and we went on a date. Though that is something to me that is so flattering, when a man comes and he approaches and is bold enough to just say, I just want to get to know, see like how she's doing, whatever. You don't even have to ask for my number if you're not even that, okay. If you're in that space. You could even go to my friend later and say, hey, I'm interested in your friend, and we had a great time. I just didn't get a chance to get her number. Like, that would even be even better, because at that point you get that chemistry as well. But I just feel like when you have to go through somebody else, you're not necessarily ready for someone like me, because I am more of a bolder person. But I do get when men do say that person's not my type just by their looks. Obviously, if they're not kempt, somebody said in the comments, you obviously don't want to pursue that. But if somebody just doesn't look like your type, like, I do think that women need to open their eyes more to that. Like, just open your eyes to have a conversation. Giving your phone number isn't the end of the world. Or having a conversation with somebody that's not your type. Like, I've noticed that even with like people opening doors, women think that a man's hitting on them opening their door. Like, no, if you want to be approached by men, you need to have that femininity where the right man will pursue you in that way. So
yeah, you're speaking exactly on what Leonard is saying in the group chat. Is the woman got to be approachable? Sometimes like, I'll be like, some women have a mean resting B face, and they're not approachable, or they don't look approachable until you talk to them, and then it's like, oh, this is just how you look, but it gotta be, to me, it gotta be mutual. Like, I'm a big fan of consent with a woman. If I don't feel I got the consent, I'm not talking to you, especially not the first time I see you. So unless I just feel this is the only time I'm gonna ever see you, I might need to talk to you and maybe get a number or something, because you're just not on my timeline in life. But if I feel like I'm gonna see you again, Nah, I'll wait the second time go around because again, you get women saying you thirsty. Like as men, you sometimes you're not even trying to holler at a chick, and she just gonna label you to the homegirls and hey, nah, he a thirsty dude. Like, buddy, like you said, I just opened the door for you. Like I could have just walked in without you and let you walk in behind me, but I opened the door and you couldn't even say thank you to me or nothing. So why would I approach you?
Agreed.
Yeah, yeah. I think I agree with everything that you guys are saying, and I think that again, being approachable is important. Being willing to be able to have a conversation. I think that where the thirst can come in is when men do shoot their shot. I find that it is more attractive when people can kind of uh, let's see, not necessarily hold back from whatever they're excited about in meeting you, but like I think where it gets kind of extreme is where it jumps from okay, I asked for your number, and now it's like stage 5 clinger status immediately because you got an in. Maybe people, no one said yes or given you an opportunity to talk to them in a while, and so you can tell that that energy versus a man who's like, okay, I got her number, and then he takes his time to like, let's get a message in, or we're not. I don't know. I think at this age, it's like we're not in high school, right? Like, I don't need to really realize that you have not dated anybody or had anybody give you attention and who knows how long, and how that comes off is you want to have a full-fledged like, let's jump on the phone and be on the phone for hours. You just met me, or something like that. It's like that's where it's like, wait, what's going on here? But I think that being approachable and letting people in, so giving that signal from what I've heard, is good. And then the other thing is this, like you guys have said though, when we know what we want, especially at first glance, it's kind of, I think if I was a man, I would be not approaching people either, because women have been exactly like you guys said, resting B face, like looking them up and down. What can you do for me right now? Like, I don't know. I think I would really struggle with approaching women. And I think I said this in on our first part, is that I think a lot of the time we forget that men do have feelings. And so, it's kind of like the rejection be hard hitting, like, dude, oh, look at his shoes or whatever, like, or just that don't talk to me type of stuff, which is just like really harsh. So I don't know. If I was a man, I think I would really just be like, and anyways, good luck. Good luck to you, sis.
I think you learn them. Like,
yeah,
it ain't about if the first time I see you, I approach you and I talk to you. I think you learn a person a little bit, like kind of like like a lion looking for his prey.
Yes.
And you watch and you see from a distance, like, all right, who they communicating with, how they acting. And then like, if you have a mutual, yes, the mutual could be of some information to you. But like, it's just sometimes I just feel like as a man, I feel that women, they kind of give you that cold shoulder because yeah, they want to be pursued, but in actuality, they making you chase them. So you don't want to chase, like as a man, you like, I want to pursue you, but if I gotta go through a whole bunch of layers just to get you to say yes, I don't want that. I'd rather go through the homie and say, hey, put a word in for me. I'm gonna do my part. You just put a word in for me, and that's gonna get her guard down, and I could go in from there.
Yeah.
And I love the analogy about the lion, because that's generally my approach. Like, if I see somebody that I'm interested in, I'm pretty much, especially if it's an environment that I frequent on a regular and I know they frequent, I'm definitely going to observe them first, right? How do they move? I'm gonna scope out the landscape. Who are they around? Who are they talking to? And I just watch initially, and then I eventually pounce. No, I'm joking. I eventually go forward. eventually go for it. So yeah, no, I really do think we all, and I think it is like we're all we all have our own styles, right? And I think it's okay. I think as it's been stated on tonight, it's like creating that space where it's okay to have that conversation, and it doesn't have to be any harm. It doesn't have to be any pressure, right? And I think also there's also if you're going to state to a man you're not interested, there is a way to do it. Right? I don't think you've got to just be off-putting or negative about it. But I think there are creative ways to do it as well. And it doesn't have to be creative. It can simply be, hey, no, I'm not. Thank you, but I'm not interested. I think one of the things is just remembering that we're all human, right?
Yeah.
And we're all on this journey. Now, I see a comment in the chat, and I want to read it, and I want to get you all's thoughts. Donnell Robinson says the approach needs to be friends first, then lovers. I love the comment, but here's my question, because I think that's tricky, Sonya. I want to get your thoughts. I want to get the women's thoughts. I want us to talk about this a little more, then we're going to move forward. But I think that's tricky because sometimes you can start just being their friend, and then maybe because you don't communicate interest sooner or later, they're like, oh, he's just nice. Oh, he's just a gentleman. And then they put you in the friend zone. So my question is to everybody, do you really want the man to just approach you as a friend and all of that? Or do you want him to clearly articulate his interest from the beginning?
I think you go with friends. Like, I don't care. If you friends on me, that's your problem. But I think you got to build foundation on friendship. So, but what you tend to learn, a lot of women don't even know what friendship is.
Mm.
When they're dating, they just go straight. I'm gonna just say this: if we ain't having sex, hey, you don't. Sometimes that's all it is, and that's why we're in the culture we're in now, where it's a lot of just sex happening and not relationship happening. So you build friendship. Friendship can go for years and then spark into lovers later. Like, you don't always have everybody you talk to have to become their lover, but friendship, creating that friendship, the bond up front. Yeah, you could come in with intentions and all of that stuff, but you be a friend, because at the end of the day, once all of this stuff basically fade away, it's all about friendship. Can I stand you to be with you for 30 years? Sex ain't always going to be there. The love ain't always going to be there. So is the friendship is what's going to be there. The friendship is what's going to make you take care of a person with dementia. The friendship is what's going to make you wipe their booty when they can't. You know what I'm saying? So you lead with friendship. And like, if they friend zone you, it just lets you know that they're not for you. That's it. Like, somebody friend zone somebody being nice to them, that's crazy of the opposite sex.
Wow.
Like, we're opposite sex, and you telling me I'm too good of a guy for you to date, so you just friend zone me. You don't want a good man.
And that goes back to, this is going to get good. That goes back to the other part of, again, women saying men are not approaching. And as I stated, I'm not talking about scrubs, right? I'm not talking about any of the descriptors you want to use, but there are good, respectable, hardworking, honest men, right? That are out there and they're approaching. And as you said, Sonya, okay, because he's trying to choose my words wisely here, because he's a gentleman, right? Because he's kind, because he's sweethearted. Oh, I'm a friend zone you. It just really begs the question, and I don't want to get too ahead of myself. Like, what really is going on here? I really want to move, but I'm coming to the ladies. But I've got to ask this really quick, Sonya, because you said friendship.
All right.
But do you think it is disingenuous to come in as a friend when you know you have interest romantically?
No, because you're gonna say it. Listen, man, I'm gonna say this: a man is not gonna be nice to a woman that he don't want to be with.
Okay,
that's all I'm gonna say. If he's nice to you and being your friend, and y'all are, listen, they got the word platonic sex out there or friendships. Ain't no way. I'm sorry. If you're a female and I get on that phone with you every day, I'm texting you every day, I want the coochie. Point blank, period. No.
We got a
diverse
audience here tonight.
It's very cool, but we all are adults and we're mature. Opposite sex attraction ends with sex. It don't end with just love. It don't end with trust. It ends with sex. When you are
holy matrimony.
Yeah, well, hey, we could get to marriage. We can get to the marriage part, but what I'm saying is no man, no woman is continuously talking to you every day, all day long, and they just think we just gonna be friends. It's who's investing that much time into just a friend that I met randomly, that I didn't grow up with, that I haven't done anything in life with. You think I just want to be your friend? Yo, I think we're misguiding ourselves thinking that.
Mika, don't entertain this behavior, please. Mika, don't entertain this behavior. Listen, I'm coming to the ladies, but I want to read this comment really quick, and I'm coming to you, ladies, for your comments and thoughts. Sharnisa59 says, articulate interest. So I don't know if she's kind of speaking to that question of me about, like, you know, are we just going to come in as a friend, or really you romantically interested? But she says, articulate interest so everyone is on the same page, eliminate ambiguity, and requires eliminates ambiguity and requires people to have bold conversation about what they want or do not want. So, question for the ladies is, do you really want that man to just be your friend or start as a friend level when you know he really has romantic interest in you? What do you want?
I do. So the thing is, for me, I want you to tell me up front that you're interested in me, because if not, I've already friend zoned you. And it's because of the factor that you haven't told me that you have some kind of interest in me. So my head is already put in that perspective. And it could be because I do have actual guy friends that are legit friends. I have one from college that we literally bonded over heartbreak. And we literally became brother and sister. He is my white brother. I have a white Irish brother. And to this day, he's married. I went to wedding, all of those things. And we never had an interest in each other like that, ever. But that was up front from the beginning. We knew that. I already have that perspective. If you're coming to me and we're just hanging out because you haven't told me, hey, I do find you attractive. Even if you just tell me you find me attractive. So that would actually change my perspective. It's not going to say, hey, I want to be with you right now. And it could, like I said before, it could be because when I was younger, if a guy did pursue me that way, where he was coming in and saying, hey, I'm interested in getting to know you, I'm thinking in my head when I was younger that, hey, this guy could be my next relationship. And then I'm already like buddy, and then the friendship is gone. We don't even get to a friendship space because my head is already in that space. But as I'm older, I would rather have them tell me up front, I am interested in potentially pursuing you. And then that way we just build a friendship at that point and have those conversations. It doesn't have to go all the way to there because it could change. And then if it does shift, we need to have that conversation.
Okay.
I think that I like building friendship, I think in general, but I think that, I think I appreciate when a man can be like, hey, I'm your friend, but I'm attracted to you. Or, hey, here are my intentions. I think the intentions is a big thing because there are people, I've had male friends who are clearly and obviously will tell me, hey, I'm attracted to you. this, that, and everything else. But then because we have a friendship, can tell where, okay, I know where there would be misalignment if we tried to do like an actual partnership, right? Where you can actually have real conversations around that. Or, I mean, I've had friends just even clearly that are like, I'm a man. If you ever open the door for me to like be physical with you, I would. And so it's like, okay, yeah, no, but thank you for being honest. Like, we could have that conversation. But I think that I like to develop friendship, just have a clear line of communication in that way, so you can kind of know where things can go. But as far as just like not giving intentions or just kind of beating around the bush out the gate, I think we can kind of infer, but I think to get rid of any type of projection or assumptions, it would be nice, like, hey, yeah, I do like you, even if I even in the little jokey jokes, right? But I think if people could be more direct, like, hey, I am attracted to you, I would love the opportunity to date you, but if they're around you and they get to see, okay, but you ain't ready for that, or she still, whatever the heck, it would just be nice to know intentions up front versus just skating around it.
Listen, I see some good comments coming in the chat. I just want to say this as we get ready to transition the conversation. Please know this. I'm going to just say, when you all as ladies are out in the public and perhaps you see a nice guy, you see a guy, he catches your attention. If you are with your girlfriends 5 or 6, can y'all break off for a moment? That's just for me. Can you just break off? I'm putting myself out there. I don't know about Sunye, but I'm just saying, if it's 5 or 6 of y'all, I know somebody in the chat will say, oh, you should just come for it. But can y'all break off? Say, oh, let me just, y'all know how to act like you twiddling around in your purse. You left your makeup. Listen, just break off real quick and, let them go and walk to the car and just see what happens. That's all I'm asking from my perspective. Go ahead.
I was going to ask about that earlier because I do a lot by myself. Okay. So like, I'm like, I know that, and maybe me and Carrie are probably similar in this. Like, we're okay to go eat by ourselves or go do X, Y, and Z by ourselves. So I don't feel like I'm not ever approached because maybe it's easier. Like, oh, like you're out by yourself. You have a group of people you might talk to. So I personally don't do large droves of like cliques, a bunch of girls, right? Like, I've just never been that person. So what's the difference? I mean, from the male side, and I know we're going to move on from this, but what's the difference when there's a woman who's more so by herself, or like not many people with her, maybe one other friend, versus girls who be out with like 5, a whole entourage? How does that fare?
It can be intimidating, but you know what? It just depends on the environment. And if you see her with the pack, you just kind of like, you come to the table, introduce yourself, and you go right to her, and you give about 30 seconds, and you try to get that phone number, and you get up out of there. Don't try to pull her away from the crew. Let her and her crew have fun. All of that. Shoot your shot right then and there, and say, hey, I'll hit you later, and go from there. But it just depends, man. Sometimes it's intimidating, man. You don't know what these women be thinking. And you got to pick the right one in the crew.
That part.
You got to pick the right one.
You got to pick the right one.
I absolutely.
You got to pick the right one.
But you know what? I made a mistake one time because a guy did this, and I think about this all the time. It was way back. I was with a group of people after church it might have been a Sunday night or something. And we were at this restaurant and we went to pay, and the guy, the guy at the waiter, he said to me, he's like, oh, yours is all taken care of. It's by this guy. I was what? So, and I missed out on that. And I think I regret that. I regret not doing that, not pursuing that call, because he put his phone number on his card, and I didn't know who he was and all stuff. But I didn't do it, and I think it was because I was still in that pack, in that group of women. And when you said that, like, have to like pick the right one and all that stuff. I felt bad after because he was a very attractive man, and that was just the smoothest way to do that. And
Okay.
yeah, but I think it was also my age at the same point. I was you just reminded me of that, and I kind of just went off on tangent. So sorry.
Now listen, Doc7 says leave the pack for 2.5 seconds. Thank you so much. Absolutely, that's what I need. Mika says we're gonna say here, come fine is trying to holler. Hey, so all right. So listen. Here's what I want to do. Let's shift from talking about taking a risk to what actually happens when there is a connection. So this is another popular question that we see on social media, and we hear it all the time. So I'm gonna start with Sunye, but then I'm coming to the women next. So the question is, when you are dating someone, you're in a relationship, as a man, for you personally, you could just speak to it, or you could also talk from guys that you talk to, but maybe start with yourself. As a man, how long does it take for you to usually say, you know what, I can see a real future with this person, and what helps or delays that clarity? Before you answer, that's going to be the same question for the women. As a woman, how long does it usually take for you to know, hey, I can see a future with this man, and what helps or hurts that clarity? Sunye.
I think you can learn from the first conversation. If you got discernment, you know how long you're gonna talk to somebody. If they're gonna be around for a while, it's gonna be a 1-2 month fling. You already know. So, and I think it's just what they're saying, the energy that they're bringing to the conversation. Are you pulling teeth having conversation? If I got to have a whole bunch of icebreakers with you, we're not going to last. If we can start conversating and it's like it's just clicking like we long lost friends, I know it's going to be some length in this relationship or friendship, however you want to term it. But when you got to have a whole bunch of icebreakers and the conversation is stopping and it's not flowing, yeah, it's going to be a hard one. Like, maybe this might be the last conversation. And I think natural energy with a person lets you know if they're going to be here with you. So I'm not saying you know from day one if she the one, but you know from day one if this is going to be very short or this potentially can be long term. And long term basically means if we put the energy into this, we could be friends for a while. But when you first start talking to a female and it's like, well, what's your favorite color? And you got to keep all those kind of questions, those elementary, high school questions, teenage love questions. You know she's not the one. You're not going to be around for a while.
Man, that's good. I like to ask, so some things that are important to me. Well, I like to ask certain questions of certain people. So I'll listen to the things that they say first. Some big things for me is like if I ask somebody, like for instance, I had this one guy, I asked him straight out, like, hey, so if you ever got married, do you feel like you own your wife? And his response was yes. I mean, immediately for me, I'm like, what do you mean? Like, break that down. And it was very much like, yeah, I would own everything about her, this, that, and everything else. So like asking questions to see, does that align with you? Is that something you could even stomach or tolerate, depending on how a person approaches things. So that goes beyond the like surface level questions, of colors and this and that. I think getting some of the hairy things out of the way as soon as possible is really important. Because for me, I think it's important for somebody who could be more reciprocal and honor, okay, this person, yes, they could still be nurturing, they could still do this, but they still are their own being that have things that life is commanding of them. And so it's important to know like who you're around and what they really want, because I think this is the thing, men that lead, they're gonna be straight and direct about what they want and where they're going. And so I think as a woman, you need to find out what he really wants and where he's going, and see if you can deal with that. Because you can try to force it, like that could have been an easy, oh man, I kind of like this, or he does this, so I'm gonna force that, even though I know if I would have pursued that long or let that be pursued longer, it would have caused tension. So you already know out the gate certain things just trigger you, and you shouldn't go beyond maybe a friend.
So I just want to, before Carrie responds, and I thank you all so much for your responses. Again, because I saw some comments in the chat saying pursue. I'm not talking about pursue here. I want to raise the conversation a little bit, and I'm talking about I can see myself marrying this person. All right. So I want to lock in there a little bit, Carrie, is again, how long for you does it take you to know whether this person could be my husband, or I think this is the one. Let me give it a little more commentary before you share. Is the saying is you know when you know, right? And I saw a video the other day where a very known pastor, I won't call his name, and wife met, and within 6 months they got married. So again, when I'm talking about how long does it take, I'm not really talking about pursuing someone. I'm talking about next level. Hey, I actually think this could be my husband. This could be my wife. How long did it take for you? And what helps or hurts that clarity, Carrie?
I don't think there's a length. I think it's, for me, it would be when I feel myself growing to a better self with that person. That's when I know that this could possibly be the one. Because I grow a lot by myself. So it takes a lot for somebody to really take me outside my box and really start growing me to a whole nother level. And you'll start seeing that person also doing that as well. So what would stop that would be fear of us growing. And that usually ends up in arguments, to be real honest with me on that end, because of the factor is I will feel the stagnant. I will feel stagnant within myself. And that I will already know, hey, I've got to go, because I've got things that I know that I'm supposed to do on this earth. And I can't waste time if being stagnant at this moment, because life is short. And God had somebody for me that is going to help grow and develop, and we can do it together.
Right.
So that would be it. And it could literally be, like you said, Dr. Russ, that it was that they got married within 6 months. It could be 6 months. It could be 3 months. I do think once you're older, once you start getting like to that mid 30s and higher, it's like you know who you are. You should know who you are. So it could take 6 months. It could take 6 weeks. It could take a full year. Shouldn't take more than a year, but I don't think you put a time frame on it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
come to you, Nisi. I want to also to our audience, our online audience, love to hear from you as well. So for men and women, we're talking about more so marriage here. How long does it take you to, when you're dating someone, and it's could be a few months? I don't want to say a few months. Let me retract it. If you started dating someone, how long does it take for you to feel like, you know what, I can see a future with this person? Or maybe I think this is my wife. I think this is my husband, right? How long does that take for you? And what helps or hurts that clarity? So I love to hear from the men and women in the chat. Go ahead, Nisi.
So, okay. So I think I might be the only one of us that have been married, right? Or, yeah. Okay, so my first marriage was quick, 3 months.
Okay.
3 months. Okay, so I understand the 3 to 6. I hear these stories, and I'm not saying that they're necessarily wrong. I think there's time, place, understanding, maturity. I was younger, like kind of fresh out of college, maybe a year out of college or so. And then there was also like just the we talked about this the last time with the influence of church and spiritual, nature. I think that for me at this time in my life, I want to see somebody through seasons of
Okay.
through some seasons. And so, I mean, if we really take that into consideration, we have a year of seasons, right? But I would like to see a person through seasons of where they might have, a hard time, or you can't predict like grief and things like that. But it really, not to just be like, oh man, I want to jump this person's bones, or they're attractive, or we can, do all of that. Oh, I want to marry them for that. That stuff's temporary, like Sonia was saying. Like those stuff's temporary. So seeing someone through some seasons, and again, like I said, that could be a year, or that could be seasons of temperaments, attitudes, how they handle things, how do they handle, even for myself, like if I'm going through something and I'm being neurotic or something, does that person handle me well, right? Like being able to know that is this a safe space. So like now the bar is a little longer and higher, just to be more practical and real, not in the ethers of imagination, because we could do this, or we heard a word from the Lord, okay, but if you're going in with 3 months, then what are you doing within that 3 months to give that relationship some stability? Are you doing marriage counseling? Are you really talking to people? Are you getting are you getting under the hood really well? Like, are you finding out about how do you work out if someone loses a job or gets sick, or I have kids, or one of the kids, something happens, or what if you go through a period of time where the kids are so needy and you don't get none for a week or two? Are you gonna be all right? Like things like that matter. And so like we can't just, it's easy, like when you've been like deprived of a thing, or you're really desiring marriage and wanting a relationship, to jump into something when on the surface it could be amazing, but if we're not digging through the layers, then you might put yourself in a situation that could end up in divorce, or you just losing yourself.
Listen, this y'all about to open up a Pandora's box here. Listen, let me read some of these comments here. Somebody said I let my ex-husband marry me in 3 months because I was saving myself for marriage, but he didn't want to be a husband. He just wanted to do what married people do. So the next time I wait for God. Let's see here. And they said that they were young as well. Mika said that was fast. I need more time to learn who I'm dealing with. Seasons, that's important. Let's see here. Folks be lying on the Lord. He ain't said nothing. We coming to that, Mika. Hold on to that. We coming to that. We're gonna need our resident therapists to chime in on that, as well as the panel here. Okay, so I want to ask this question here, because we're still talking about knowing they're the one. Again, Misi's the only one that's been married before, but our resident counselor therapist tonight, Mr. Sean Sunye, he has been engaged before, right?
Correct.
And so I want to ask you, let me just preface this. If you give me 30 seconds to go, the preacher in me to come out. The Bible talks about we know in part and we prophesy in part. And I don't want to get ahead of myself, but to Mika's point, I just think, like people, we sometimes just, the truth of the matter is sometimes we don't always get it right. Can I just say it that way? Like, you go in with good intentions and you hope that it's going to work out, but sometimes you don't get it right. So I just want to ask you, Sunye, while it didn't lead to marriage for you, I can't remember the time, but as I recall, a few years ago, you met a young lady, and I don't think it was a long time you all were dating before you decided that you wanted to propose to her. So my question is, what was it for you within that time that it did take you to feel like I'm ready to pop the question to this woman?
I thought it felt good. I won't go into the stereotypical "the Lord told me" type stuff, but I felt that we was at a great space, communication wise, things of that nature, getting to know each other, roughly headed on the right direction, and yeah, I went for it. But I think what happens, titles creates a lot of entitlement with people. And so since then I've been very hesitant on titles, actually. So but I think with her, the title of fiance created a new person. And once I recognized that new person, I made a decision. And I made a decision because I'm not the I want to get married and get divorced kind of person. So I looked at it as, hey, like, you know what? I got to deal with this for life. Like, this is you. Like, it's not because I didn't see this person before the title. But once the title came, I seen a new person. And I made a decision. I felt like, yo, you know what just happened is a red flag and I can't turn that green. And I made the executive decision for my life and I left. Well, I let her know, hey, I didn't make a rash decision. I slept on it and I made a head decision the next morning versus a heart decision. And I let her know, and we went our separate ways. Like, we still was cordial through the years, like friends and stuff like that. But I think, sometimes I don't think people understand marriage, and the true aspect of it, what it should be is, it's becoming one partnership. And I think that I'm gonna just say this. I always tell people, like, you got to kill yourself to be married. And a lot of people say that's too much. But it is. You got to sacrifice a lot of you to be married, and because you got to put that person before you, vice versa, male or female. And I don't think a lot of people do that. They allow society to keep them married for longer than they should be, family, whatever, their beliefs. And hey man, sometimes I tell anybody, you got to be happy before the marriage is happy. So as much, I can't make you happy if I'm not happy. And you go from there.
And thank you first of all for sharing that. And if I recall, what I don't remember the timeline because it's been a few years now, but I do recall that from like when you proposed to when you called it off was rather quick. Like whenever you made up,
it was, man, under 48 hours. Under 48.
Like, I don't want them to miss that, Sunye. I don't want them to miss that. So you propose, and then 48 hours later, you called it off. I don't want them to miss that.
It was well under 48, but I'm just giving it some room.
Okay.
Yeah, so I did it instantly because something reared its head immediately.
And you didn't waste no time.
I didn't waste time. You got to make executive decisions in your life. Like, forget who I'm worried about how you going to think because of my decision. No, you made a decision. She made a decision to do what she did within those first 48 hours that she had never done before. So I had to react to that decision. Now, did I immediately react to the decision? No. In the moment, I could have spazzed out, but I didn't. I said, you know what? I'm going to wait till the morning, see how I'm feeling, and we're going to go from there. And that's exactly what I did. And it's not to say like, oh, she deserves a second chance. Like, she probably do with somebody else. But for me, no, like, I'm not, like, again, you got to realize what you're sacrificing to make somebody else happy. My sacrifice got to be worth something. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I don't know how it feels for women, but I feel like this. When a man says, yo, hey, you get on the knee and say, hey, I want to marry you, he's choosing you over everybody else. That's what I'm going to say. Like, he's choosing, like, regardless, whatever his history is, he's choosing you to be the one over everybody else. And like, I know We got a church crowd, but I'm sorry, I'm choosing you, your cat over anything else. So if that's the case, no, this gotta make sense for me. I can't be out here like, oh yeah, I'm single, I'm happy, I'm dating multiple women or whatever, but then I'm gonna decide to get married and have one person. I'm not talking about getting married and still messing around, looking at other women. No, I'm choosing you. And you think I gotta deal with stuff I don't deal with when I was single? No, I'm not gonna do that. And I don't think any man with a conscious mind would do that. Like, and I'm not talking about getting married because it's convenient. You know what I'm saying? Like we see a lot of marriages are convenience marriages where, hey, I'm helping you, you're helping me, you know, to live a better lifestyle. No, when you are secure in your lifestyle by yourself and you're adding this person on to be a partner with you to help enhance you on both sides, I'm gonna enhance her, she gonna enhance me. But if you come in and you create yourself to be a liability, that's a problem. I get to choose. I'll tell anybody, you get to choose who you date. Like when you're in your lane and you're moving how you feel you should be moving in life, you get to choose. Like, and yeah, it could be like we talked earlier about, that outer book cover. You can flip through the pages. You don't gotta always just go with the prettiest thing. Like, yeah, I like big booties. Will my wife have a big booty? Probably not. You know what I'm saying? I'm just keeping 100. Like, you can't just be like, oh, I like this, I like that. What you dating probably is the problem. You got to get outside of what you are used to or what you like. I'm listen. It could, like Carrie said, she have a friend that's a white Irish. Yo.
Yes, white and Irish, yes.
All right. So Carrie may like black men, but if she ain't getting it right with the black men, but white Irish over here might sweep off her feet one day. And I'm not saying that it is, but I'm just saying, like, sometimes you gotta go out of what your norm is. If you like them petite, maybe you need to mess with a BBW. You know what I'm saying? Hey, lean back hard, buddy. But I'm just letting you know, you got to get out of your parameters, get out of what's familiar to you to find happiness sometimes.
So, in essence, what you're saying is, open the book, turn the pages, and look at the content.
Yeah.
Because you never know, when you go deeper into the book and you see the content, you might feel like, you know what, I found gold.
Correct. No, platinum. Forget gold. You can find platinum in some stuff that you think ain't yours by just going off a surface. So forget surface. Like, yo, deep dive. Like, what are you wasting time getting to know a person? You're not. I want to get to know you because I potentially want to build a future with you. You're not wasting time, because if we're going to be together anyway, I might as well invest in you to find out who you really is, date your family, figure out where your brain is, how you're going to process. Are you going to be able to break generational curses? Are you going to be able to continue building whatever I've built and whatever you've built? Are we going to be able to keep this rolling? Some people just don't have it in them. They just dare to be a part of your story. You don't want nobody who's just for your story. Yo, we building a storyline together. And that's what you need. And sometimes it's not in who you think you like.
Well, listen, the chat, I believe they're responding well to what you just stated. Now, someone has said, Sonye, you're kidding me. Don't choose the cat. Choose her for who she is and be willing to build him as they build you. You will not get 100%. You have to build. So I think they're agreeing.
We need to choose the cat though.
Okay, well, Sonya, I think they're agreeing with you here to a degree, and then they're saying, "Hey, you got to build with someone." Listen.
Wait, because listen, hold on.
Don't
I just thought.
Don't do it.
I gotta do it. I mean, listen, like, I get it. Because this is the thing. I mean, again, we already know the physical can go, right? When you choose a part, like, I'm choosing you, anything can happen. You want there to be more depth. But I understand why he's saying that, because my thing is, if that's important, let's say you build your non-negotiables out. I think we talked about this last time, maybe. Do you have some non-negotiables? Like, if that's a thing for you, like, that needs to be met, because if he's a man who, and a woman, right? Because even as I'm listening to you, we're in a new day and age when it comes to how we approach. And so I think sometimes us as women have taken in some of the masculine, like, well, look, if I'm choosing you and I'm letting all these other people not have a chance, like, come on, bro, you better have some things that you're coming with. And if sometimes that physical piece is still, we're human. Like, I want to enjoy something, if I'm going to be committed to you, even if there's that chance that something happens and that is not on the table. At least we're entering in with, I know that this is quality. We have more than just companionship. We can have chemistry. I think he's still onto something there, because you want to enter marriage and not be out here cheating.
Correct.
Come on.
You don't want to be cheating and married. So you got to be able to say, hey, this is what I want. This is what I'm looking for. Are you meeting my needs? Like when you settle for marriage, y'all gonna always cheat now. You want to come home. As a man, you want to be able to come home every night. You don't want to go to the bar. You don't want to ride around in circles in the neighborhood. You don't want to have to go to your homeboy house after you get off work. No, you want to come home, take a shower, sit on your couch, and be with your family. But if you're not getting that, go ahead.
If Shells, if you're taking them from the streets, don't make them wish they were back in the streets. Because the streets be real tempted if you took some time and span out in the street. Why?
Oh yeah, Mika says sitting in the car. You don't want. Listen, man, you do not want that life.
No.
I enjoy coming. I'm not married, so a female don't live with me either. But I enjoy coming to my house every day. I enjoy bagging into that garage, getting out that car instantly, going take a shower, or sitting on that couch and putting that TV on, or getting on my phone. When you married and you're not in a safe environment, you're not gonna do that. So why settle for less than what you was when you were single to be married?
So listen,
this is an enhancement.
So listen, this has been really good. I want to take the question now from like culture, if you will, to more personal, if you will. So I want to. I got a few questions that stay in that lane, and so I want to ask you all this question here. As we talk about building a connection and really showing who we are, here is the question. Is it easier for you to be liked in dating and relationships, or to be fully known? Again, I'll repeat the question for you. When we're talking about dating and relationships, what's easier for you? For somebody to like you, or for them to fully know you?
For me, yeah, for me, I think it's easier to like me. I just have the personality that is very likable, and it's not me being cocky. It is just I know who I am. I have a very likable spirit, but knowing me takes an intimacy that is unlike any other. So you actually do have to seek the Lord to find me, to know me, because that's how private I am. I have a ton of people that I associate with, but I can count on one hand how many people know me as a person and are friends with me and have seen me through seasons that nobody knew about. So actually know me is really, really hard. You have to want to know me, and you have to try to you have to have the urgency to want to know me, and asking those questions, those deep questions. I am a transparent person, but at the same point, I'm not going to be transparent with everybody, because I have been on that side as well. So it does take time to know me, as opposed to liking me, because I am a very likable person.
Okay. Okay, Carrie.
I'll go and say I would rather be known. See, known lets you know intentions. Hey man, people like elephants, you know what I'm saying? With no intention on ever petting the elephant. So I want you to know me. I want you to actually get in and understand who I am as a person, why I react the way I react, why I do what I do. So you can really say, oh, you know what? It ain't even about liking him. I love him. I trust him. That's what you want. I cherish him. I appreciate him. That's like that whole likability stuff. I'm sorry, we like a lot of stuff. And that's window shopping, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So I'm coming to you, Misi, but let me just do this really quick since we're here. Okay, Sean, but I wanna I want to ask you this though, because I just heard this week. And the comment was, I know you said we like a lot of things, but the comment was actually you need to be with someone that you like. Because it's easy to say, oh, I love you, but I don't like you. And I would love for Misi to, I want you to speak to the question at hand, but I would love for you to even talk to that because you've been married. So I've heard people say, yeah, it's important to have love, but you actually want to be with someone that you do like and that is your friend. So what do you say to that? Like,
Yeah.
what are your thoughts there? Sean?
Ooh, that's real good. Okay. So I was framing your question. I'm like, what's easier? Okay, yeah, it's easier for people to like me. I'm very likable, just like Carrie said as well. A lot of people like me, but I want to be known because that's very much more important to me. Don't like open that door just for everybody to just come on into the intimate world, but like when you've been afforded that space, even as a friend, like I want you to know me. Because I can be very, what do they say the word now? Neurodivergent, quirky, all the things. And it can take people off course sometimes. Like, hold on, dang. Yeah, like you gotta love, like, hate, all of that together. So like that's important. But I think that also comes with self-awareness. But speaking to being married before and that importance of liking, loving, being in love, like all of that, not liking the person is the worst, right? You have nothing to stand on. Like, yeah, you could be friends, I can have all the love for you in the world, but if I'm constantly in these spaces, if I just can't stand you, that becomes toxic, that becomes heavy. I need to find that again. My thing is that somebody can, for me, things can happen that become disappointing very much, and then it's hard to bring that like back, right? And to know, because once you get to know somebody, especially again, framing marriage 3 months and not even being around the person a lot within that time frame, how do you know that you really like that person? You haven't gotten to know them in a deep way. So there's love because I'm a loving person, but you don't really know them. So now you're getting to know this person as you're married to them, and then finding out about the things that when you're young, you don't have any non-negotiables. You don't really know what you like you don't really know where you're, again, speaking on the physical, if there are things that you needed and you weren't able to articulate, or you don't like that this person does, like now you're in it though, you're kind of stuck there. So like, I think getting to know somebody, knowing them on a deep level, knowing the little nasty things. Hey, this person picks their toenails, can you deal with that? Is that okay for you? You might not like that, but can you know that and decide if, oh, I can deal with that? or their laugh is wild and loud. Can you deal with that? It's like these are the little things that when the dust settles that can drive you insane, and you can end up loathing this person, right? So I think that it's important to like the container, but they know the container. Yeah, you want to like on a deeper level, which requires you knowing that person. So I would say just being married before coming into those reps, because when things get hard, can I still like you with integrity? You know what I mean? And still have your back, because I do like you, even though, you might have done something that got on my nerves, or the love is not as strong right now. When the love is not there, can I still like you even above it all? Here's the other thing too. Forget the other person. Hey sis or bro, do you like yourself? Because a lot of people are getting divorced and we want to blame it on the other person or whatever circumstances are. Do you like you? Because you might not like you. You might have gotten married, you might have had kids, and you lost yourself, or you don't know who this person is that you look in the mirror at anymore. And this is the thing about marriage and relationships in general. You're constantly evolving. So are we having grace for one another as we're evolving? And are you having grace for yourself? Because more likely than not, you might not like you. And that could translate over to the other person. And they didn't ask for none of that. But do you like you? Do you know you? Let's go a bit deeper. Do you know you? Most people don't even know themselves. You can't even tell somebody, like I'm talking self-awareness right now. Most people aren't that self-aware about themselves. And we project that all up and down in our relationships.
And so I think this is a great segue. So now from taking the like and the being fully known from outward, let's take that inward now. All right, so let's flip that. And here is my next question for you. What has dating forced you to become honest about in yourself when it comes to your needs, your fears, your emotional limits, your emotional capacity? So I'm going to repeat the question again for those of you in the chat. What has dating forced you to become honest about in yourself as it relates to your needs, your fears, your emotional capacity, your emotional limits? As we talk about liking yourself and knowing yourself, I want to hear from you all. Let's start with Carrie, then we'll go to Sunye, then we'll come back to Misi.
For me, it was that I didn't love myself. And I think that's why I'm so strong and adamant about this single season and being so intentional, and having been so intentional. Because when I look back at everything that I went, who I dated or who I allowed to pursue me, I realized I didn't love myself because of the things that I allowed for them to do to me and do in my life. Thank God for therapy. But it was one of those things where it was like, wake up, Carrie. And it actually, to be real honest, I didn't really have that hit of reality until about like 2 years ago. And I was in the cusp of it. At that point, I was in the cusp. I do love myself, but it's like, I don't know where this goes with that dating route. And it was when I moved to California, that's the way God just chose to do it, just take me all out of everything. That I realized, no, I know who I am. I love who I am. And we're going to continue to treat myself like I would want to be treated. And yeah, so that's really what dating taught me, was I didn't love myself because I allowed for people to treat me the way that they did treat me at that point.
Okay, thank you for sharing that, Carrie. Sunye, before you answer, let me read the question again. What has dating forced you to become honest about within yourself as it relates to your fears, your needs, your desires, your emotional capacity? Again, you've been someone who you've been engaged before. So this journey for you as you track over your years, what does dating force you to become honest about?
Lately it's something that make women run, but I have come to terms with I'm the prize. So like I know it rubs females wrong to hear guys say that, but I think like when you start to understand your worth as a man, you reduce who you deal with. And I don't know, this have come with age for me. I'm 42 now. So like these last 3 years or so, I have truly become to realize, like, you know what? I've been doing this stuff wrong all my adult life dating. And it doesn't mean like, oh, I'm the prize and you got to be so much of a prize. I think everybody's a prize. I think you just got to understand what you are as a person, because we all don't have to bring the same things to the table to make the table balance. So like some guys don't need a woman to bring anything to the table, but like, hey, just don't bring the baggage. Like you don't have to be successful to be in a relationship. Like I know we make it relationship like a lot about where, hey, if you ain't got it going on, don't date. I think you date to better yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like it gives you dating gives you exposure to people, to different thoughts and ways of thinking that you would not get by just being in isolation. So a lot of people go in isolation and they lose years or seasons of their life because they want to isolate. I think you still continue. You don't have to date for marriage, but you should still be communicating with people, because sometimes a relationship or a person you meet is just because they need to drop a seed on you to change your life. It's not about marriage. It's not about sex. It's just about, hey, you know what? A perspective change. So that's what I've learned lately, that essentially I've learned my worth dating. And it's not saying I don't throw my worth out there, but I know what I'm worth, so I'm not going to deal with a lot of BS. But at the end of the day, I'm going to make the best decisions for me, and I'll make the best decisions regarding me to that person.
Now, Sonya, let me say this before Misi comes in.
Okay.
You stated that women, some of them don't like it when you say this, but you're surprised. I was wanted to see what the response of the women was on with that one. I was looking at the chat, and the women were all quiet. The women were all quiet. I didn't see no woman. I don't see Mika. I didn't see any woman jumping on that. But what I did see was there were men who were very supportive, and they were they were tracking with you. They were on board. So the men, they're with you, but the women, y'all, it's crickets right now. So I don't know, that maybe that doesn't sit well with them. But I wanted to just point that out.
Oh yeah, women don't like to hear. And listen, I understand it, but I think what's happening now, man, I'm telling you, the women are closing the gap in what we think of traditional dating, traditional working space. So like women are becoming providers on their own independently. So now, like, maybe I'm gonna just say, maybe back in the day, our grandfathers didn't have to per se overly pursue our grandmothers. It's kind of just like, hey, I like you. Come on, let's go. And that's what the stories you hear. Your grandfather or your grandma say, yeah, he just picked me up and we've been together ever since. But now you got women whose mindsets have elevated through years and transition. And now they are just as saying, hey, you know what? I'm working and you got to take care of me. And guys are saying to themselves now, like, you work and I got to work to take care of you, but you working and it's for you. No, it's slowly making it where we're butting heads. We're at a moment of butting heads, and it's only going to be certain people who understands that even though I'm this traditional, no, this modern woman, I can still value tradition.
Yeah.
You know, it's not all traditions don't have to die as you become modernized, but sometimes, like, hey, like if you want him to be the man and not saying he the prize, don't be out here asking him to provide and give, and you have your own money and you don't provide back, or you don't come to the table and say, hey babe, this is our money. Like you hear a lot in marriages now, it's like, oh, it's her money, it's his money is her money, and her money is her money.
Yeah.
You hear that more than his money is her money is his money. You don't hear that. You hear the first way. So guys are recognizing it. These younger guys are recognizing that, hey, you know what? She, I don't gotta take care of her. You know what I'm saying? I don't gotta go and, you know, become my grandfather or my dad and be broken down, back hurting, and wife just walking upright. No, you want to go make money, go make your money, and hey, do you? I'm a prize too, baby. You a prize. If you a prize, I gotta be a prize too. It can't just be you the prize and I get to unwrap. It
Yeah.
goes both ways.
Yeah. I like that. I want to say this really quick, and then we're going to come to BC to get your thoughts on the questions. But I love that it goes both ways. I want to make 2 points here. I was dating a young lady uh, and in early phases, and she made a statement to me of like, "Oh, I know what I bring to the table. You know, I know that I'm different, right? I know who I am, and I know what I have, you know, done with my life, what I have accomplished, you know, where I've been, and you know, so she was just saying like, I know my worth, and while I appreciated that she could articulate it, I started to think to myself like, and I've accomplished things in life as well. You know, like I know my worth. I know that I'm not an average dude, right? I'm not your just, you know, average Joe Blow. And I was like, you know what? She's so high on who she is and how sacred and special she is that, to be honest, like you're reducing my value. And so to use your language, Sonia, I was like, I'm a prize as well. And the reason this is problematic right now is that you have been really tapped into that, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And you just want to talk about you being the prize. And I'm like, nah, you know, listen, again, I bring value. And like I said, I'm a unicorn just as much as you are one. All right. And then on that point also about both people bringing value and being seen as a prize, I heard something that struck me a few months ago. I heard something that struck me a few months ago by Dr. Carrie Turner, not Turner, Dr. Carrie Bryant, Jamal Bryant's wife. Her previous maiden name was Turner. She did this video. It was on social media, and in essence, she said to him, "I commit to being submitted to your vision. I commit to how the plan that God has given for you, that I will fully submit to that." And I thought to myself, that's a woman that realizes that she got a great catch. And to me, we don't hear that language as much today, as women saying, you know what, I realize that this man is a prize, and I am absolutely more I'm apt and I'm ready and I'm excited about submitting to that vision, right? And submitting to the mission that man has. And I think it just goes along with the point of like recognizing both people can be the prize. And I think society has made it seem like only the woman is the prize, and we're not saying women aren't the prize, but I think it's just putting both people equal value on the table, if you will, and saying, you know what, we both have benefited and leveled up because of this connection. So I really wanted to say that. Misi, jump in here as well and talk to us. What has dating forced you to become more honest about in yourself, your needs, your fears, your wants, your desires? Talk to us.
So I'll start with a few things. I mean, the first thing or pattern that I've recognized is patterns, right? Certain patterns, behaviors, and things that come up. The biggest thing for me had been how much I was still bound to my past, the baggage, um, life in general. So that is even beyond marriage. You're talking about childhood coming into, so childhood dating, childhood situations, all of that stuff, carrying that into every situation, and entering dating with a guard up and not having trust be there, had been something that I realized, which once I was able to kind of stop entering from that zone, uh, I think that dating has also afforded me to see more of my worth and value, kind of like everybody's talking about, where you see, okay, oh dang, I am doing my thing. You know, I see somebody in the chat talking about being a woman with vision and all of these different aspects, and just really realizing like that is valuable. But one thing dating really has taught me is how to be a woman of vision and still be feminine, still be available, still be supportive, but with some harmony and balance, um, in the equation. And so dating, yeah, dating definitely. So I would say dating has exposed me to myself, um, in major ways, and definitely in major ways, especially to like just even having a backbone, right? So you go through your traumas, you go through things, and you don't realize where maybe you are kind of just folding into the person that likes you. So they like you, so you're just gonna kind of roll with this thing, right? Versus like, hey, this is knowing what you like, giving yourself the time to really figure that out as you were dating is important. Not dumbing yourself down. How easily are you merging with someone before you actually are, getting something solid? So I've been kind of in the learning zone of understanding all of those things and paying attention to more so like behaviors, um maybe comfort, things that were once comfortable that became uncomfortable in dating, when you realize, oh, I don't need to behave that way anymore, or um approach things that way anymore. But I wanted to touch on what y'all were saying about the prize, because you're right. We as women, like, so even talking about what I've expressed and learned through dating, through that learning, it's like then you really know, okay, I'm value. Like you hear all types of stuff. I've had people talk to me about the woman of value and this and that, So you really, we really get talked up to build back our self-esteem. But I think that in that, again, I keep going to forgetting men do have feelings too. Men have self-esteem also. And so like, I've heard a few men even just say directly to me, well, I'm a prize, I'm this, I'm that, and sometimes that snappy, I can just admit in the past, it's been like, what do you mean you're the prize? Like, do you see me? Like I've literally said this before, and it's like okay, like like in hindsight, it's like yeah, but we don't have to be way up here in the ego like this. You want to lift him up too, and I see how we can really, and I don't want to speak for our women. I've seen how even in that being on my island, I love what somebody said up there, being on my island of understanding my worth, my value, kind of being stuck in my little world has led to men being downgraded, maybe made to feel insecure. I've been told really fresh out the gate after divorce, a man told me, man, you know how to make a man insecure. And I'm like, what the hell did I do? Right. But it's like, now I'm a questions person. So can you help me understand what I did to make you feel insecure? So I'm aware of the behavior. So like I said, dating has exposed, but I've been willing to like, let me ask the questions, help me understand what it is that I did, because a lot of the narrative we get as women is, yes, you are the prize, you're a woman of value, you go after a girl, we can be the girl boss, we can be all these things, you provide you for this. But up until now, it's like, but you lost track of femininity, we lost grace, we lost the feeling, the understanding of, hey, you're human too, you're part of the equation too. So we've almost become on this really like the pendulum swing of selfish, and I hate using that word. There's a difference between caring about yourself, growing, maturing, but there's also still that fine line of like, hey, I don't really give a damn about anybody else so long as my world is good. And I think that's unfair. I think us women we can kind of turn our heads like, oh, he's the prize, but there's really not anything wrong with that. What's wrong with him understanding his value? Now, some men, I think where we get turned off is men that are very arrogant and almost like, you ain't nothing, I'm it. And it's almost like the person who was like, hey, when I get married, I own my wife. Well, you're basically in that stance of, you're the prize, she ain't nothing but whatever you need her to be. That sucks, right? That sucks on both ends. And I think that us women, even how I just phrased that, I think we are approaching it that way too. And we're not really realizing that when we are approaching, hey, I'm the prize on that level, we're telling this man, you know, you come a dime a dozen. Oh, you can do this. You got to do this, that, and everything. He doesn't have to do any of it. And the nature of where our society is going, yes, many of us are able to provide and do all of this. But if you are a woman of color in America right now, and you have faced any type of DEI or opposition when it comes to working, or the struggle that is, you may be in a space where you're trying to open your femininity, and you need a man. You need that support. Stop acting like we don't need each other, because you need it. You know, so where you have men like you both that are prizes, that are kings, that you know, have value about yourself, that are straightforward. I think it's easy for y'all to get dogged with the wrong woman, right? But I think that it's very much admirable for you to really honorably say, I am the prize. I know the value that I bring, because us women have to also get to a point where we can be honest. Yes, I am able and capable of being a woman of vision, but I am also a woman. And I do need to be able to be taken care of. When we have babies, when we have life happen, we are on a different cycle than y'all. We can't run at the same capacity. Let's just be honest. Literally, biologically, we can't run like y'all. We can act like we can all day, but the truth is, the real truth, if people were to really say it out loud, is we can't. We shouldn't. We weren't built for that. So you do need to honor, like, if this man is a prize, a man who really wants to take care, provide, like, give him his flowers, you know? So that's part of the exposure. Even be able to talk like this and see that what dating has opened up for me to kind of come out of some of those real fierce independent spaces, or fragile, you know, wounded. I got my guard up. I don't trust nothing. You know, I've been burned financially, all these things. So it's like, you have like, why is this person, you know, with dating still will do that though. What is this person's intentions? That's why when I said earlier, what is a person's intentions? Because if you are a person who knows their value, you can get a lot of snakes and opportunists. And so I think knowing your value without being stuck in ego is important. And being able to articulate that I do know I'm a prize, I do know I'm a value, I do know that I bring a whole table is important. And we just don't have to be ugly conversations, but you do help. It helps you eliminate opportunists right out the gate.
Yeah, and I love what you said, that it doesn't have to be ugly conversations. And for me, I don't know about Sunye, but when I would say I'm the prize, it's not to exclude the woman, right? That she isn't a prize, because me personally, and I know I can freely speak for Sunye here, I am gonna marry a woman that's the prize. You know? Like I'm not gonna marry, I have a bar, right? And my woman is going to be a prize. So it's not to the exclusion of her or any woman. It's just saying you're not going to exclude me as well. Listen, the conversation has been great. If you know anything about me, or let me tell you a little bit about myself, I'm fascinated about airplanes. And so I often will use analogies that are centered around that. So that being said, we are at 30,000 feet and we are going to officially start our descent. All right. And so we're going to get ready to land this plane. But before we do, I want to tap into a couple more things. I don't know if Mika is still here with us, but she said something earlier, and I do want to hear the panelists' thoughts. But I'd love to hear from the audience as well. I know we got some great philosophers here and some scholars here, and just people that love God. So I would love to hear from you. But before I do that, I actually do want to answer this question that was in the chat. Somebody said, Dr. Sean and Dr. Russ, would you desire to be proposed to? I'm going to go first, and then Sonya can speak. Absolutely X no. No, no. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm a man. I'm a man's man. I don't believe in that crap. And ain't no woman proposing me. Go ahead, Sonya.
Yeah, don't emasculate me.
Absolutely
It
not.
ain't happening.
It ain't
And
happening.
it ain't even cute.
No.
So I think, when and that question probably came from when we was talking about being the prize. And again, being the prize is not about, as a man, it's not about you beating your chest saying, "Hey, I'm the prize, I'm the prize." It's not about that. Being the prize is saying, "Hey, I know my worth." You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't take me from a mansion and make me go to an apartment.
Mm-hmm.
That's what knowing your worth is, and being what we talking about when being the prize. Some women they want you to reduce yourself to make them be up higher, and that's not what we're talking about when we're saying being the prize. It's just a very simple. When you introduce yourself to me, you're going to tell me all your highlights. I'm gonna tell you my highlights.
Right.
So, and that's what it is. If you can't accept my highlights, we probably should end conversation right there. If you don't feel that when you start talking to me instantly and I'm telling you what my worth is, and you're downgrading my worth, why are we even communicating outside of the next 3 minutes? So I get, like, men saying they the prize, but I'm gonna just keep it 100. When a man a prize, when a woman a prize. It ain't
Talk.
you don't need conversation to know if a person is a prize or not.
Talk.
But just for them to verbally say, "Hey, I'm the prize," if that ruffle your feathers, I don't think you're ready to even talk about being a prize or being in relationship, because relationship allows you to be you. So if you go with a man right now, we all talk like everybody want the package. Nobody, like how earlier today, Mika said, "Hey, I don't want no man sagging. I don't want no man with no dirty nails, no haircut, all of that stuff." So you looking for presentation. The package being the prize is a presentation. You should know when I pull up, I'm the prize. When I walk in, my aura should let you know I'm the prize. I don't got to start talking to you to let you know I'm the prize. But yeah, when you start talking to me and you say, "Oh, hold on, you different." Yeah, I'm different. Should I deflect and say, "No, I'm not different, girl. I'm just like all other guys"? No, I'm not. That's being the prize. So again, no, I would not allow proposal to me.
They said that they asked us the question about proposal, Sonya, because they said I was just wondering since y'all are the prize. So
Yeah, but that is a very demeaning thing for a female to say. You know
Can
what I'm
I
saying?
can I say something to that? I seen that comment, and I think that we need to think about this because one thing is this: we are deeply conditioned. Period. No matter what you were on social media algorithm, what you've been raised with, and I mean, like, if we really think about it, do you not want to be a winner on both ends, right?
Yeah.
And I think that there's a fine line between you both being a prize and we know that we both winning. If you're a prize and I'm a prize, we winning. It's a mutual thing. It becomes reciprocal. When it's one-sided, we've seen what that results in. A lot of divorces, a lot of disgruntled and just very uncomfortable relationships. And I think that if we can differentiate, okay, I got a prize, you got a prize, and still keep traditional values in a sense, I would never. I want to. What am I going to be proposing to a man for?
I think
There's still
you for
this,
what you
right? Like, and who's measuring the prize? Okay, if you're a woman, we know that we are. That's the thing. This is why this exists. Because as a woman, we incubate, we carry the seed, we make the babies,
talk.
right? So we are inserted in. We have to receive, which is why it's like, okay, give her the gift. If anything, too, if you're the prize, then you giving me the gift. I'm not even I'm receiving. I'm receiving your gift, right? I know y'all ain't ready for this, but like seriously,
Talk.
we got to be able to see that. I think if we could shift our just our temperament around this and realize that why should we both not win? And that does not mean that we have to step out of some of the traditional values of how we operate and go about marriage and things like that. Because at the end of the day, again, I think a man should propose to a woman. Y'all have that's just it. Like, I want to feel like a girl. I want to be a woman. I want to stay feminine. I don't want to be masculine. So I can be a prize, you can be a prize, but sir, I still expect you to pursue me and go ahead and propose. And hey, can you know now, especially in life, you want to marry me? Can you make sure the bills are paid? I don't ever want to be in a house again in my life where the lights are being shut off. Like, you got to have your things, right? Or know that I expect you to be a man in this capacity, but I still acknowledge that you're a king and that we should both be building kingdom mindset. Then yes, I want somebody who sees himself as a prize and sees me just as much as one or more. But I think that, I don't think we should knock that,
It was a statement.
Sonia, let me say this really quick. Because we both know who the person who made that comment, and they were just joking, right? They said, we're the prize. So I don't want us to be too hard on that person because we both know them, and they were just adding a little levity to the comment. So
I love that.
Go ahead.
I think a question Andrew got, it says, what happens when you connect to the prize and life happens? Does that prize lose its value? And I'm gonna say it don't lose its value, but it's always the beholder. Like sometimes, like we talked about seasons, doing seasons with people. Like, your prize don't diminish in seasons. Like, is the farmland still good farmland when it's plowing season? Yes, it's still gonna produce a harvest later. But it's all about connecting with the right person who understands your value, who gets who you are, allows you to have a down season or a down moment and say, you know what? You've been carrying us for 8 months. I got us the next 4 months. Don't worry about it. Or I got us until such and such happens. But that goes into like now the financial side of things. Like, if you a prize, I'm a prize. All right, we made, how she said, hey, I want the bills paid. I don't want to come with the lights off. So now I got to go back. If my down season happened, and you've been living off of my fruit for all these months or years, what you've been doing with your fruit? Is your fruit not available to take the place of my missing fruit or my lack of fruit for a season? And so you gotta start looking at who you're dating or who you in relationship with or who you in commitment with to understand what prize is. Like, your kids, you get your kids gifts for Christmas because they're good kids. That's it. So a prize always gonna give gifts. That's all I can say. So if you a prize, you give gifts. So women, if you a prize to your man, you always gonna make sure he has. However you want to term gifts in your life, but as a man, if you saying you the prize, guess what? First thing you're doing, you're providing. You're making a space of safety for her. She must return that. Like, she can't just keep pulling from the pot and never refilling the pot. And that's what I think happens in these moments when people filter down in seasons and not where they was when you first met them. It's like, yo, you should be, the other person should always refill the pot. Vice versa. Yo, if my wife is a cook, I should be refilling the pot. I should be making sure it's food there. I should be making sure I'm able to help. Because if my wife get injured and can't stand in that kitchen to cook, I need to be able to come and cook in that season to fulfill that role for her. So everybody got to be a prize in some capacity, but we also just need to make sure we don't reduce a person for actually saying they're a prize.
Right. Let me jump in here really quick. There's a question, so let's talk. Let's address it for a moment, and then we again will continue to descend this plane here. So I think some of the language appears to take away from the value of a woman. It appears to be focusing on building men and downplaying women. Why do you think that is? If that could be anybody on the panel can answer, speak to that.
I never take away from a woman. Listen, I know my worth. I'm always going to be pro woman. I'm raising my daughters to be feminists. So I feel the women are in control at the moment in life. But I know my role as a man, but I won't diminish my role as a man to make somebody feel happy. So if a woman feel I diminish for understanding who I am, again, she's not your woman. You got to find your people. Like I've been using this word with a friend of mine's. You got to find your dots. Who are the dots connected to you to allow you to be exactly who you are in this world without reducing you because you're speaking highly of yourself. Now, if you don't have fruit to back up your conversation of speaking highly and saying you the prize, then listen, a woman or a man has every right to come in and be like, nah, buddy, you ain't no prize. Get out of here with all of that conversation. You can't pull up in a Corolla thinking you the prize, buddy. You know what I'm saying?
Well, let's balance it.
Listen, I'm just making it make sense.
Let's balance it, okay?
No, I'm just making it make sense.
So
the prize,
go ahead.
Go ahead. Because that could, let me say it really quick. Because that could be a woman saying to a man, "I'm just throwing this out. Oh, you don't make six figures, so you're not the prize, right?" So
man, nobody making six figures for real. Listen, you making six figures, you see it visibly when somebody makes six figures. So like we throw it out there we throw it out there too much about six figures. When you know a person makes six figures based on their presentation. That's all I can say. We could call it socialism or social class racism or whatever it is. You know six figures when you see six figures. That's all I can tell you. So, and it ain't about the money that makes you the prize. That's all. Money don't make you the prize. So you could be a broke guy and still be the prize because you have certain values in your life that you're living by. It ain't financial reasons are the tangibles of finances of money do not make you the prize. If he can't hold a conversation, if he can't give you critical thinking skills or think critically for you, make resolutions for you, make executive decisions for you, figure out the problem that you present before you overreact, he ain't a prize. And that was nothing financial. That was all brain.
Oh, that's good. Yes, character.
You want to say something? Go ahead, Lisa. You want to say something?
Yeah, I was gonna say, Lord, when the comment of the conversation being around, it seems like it's more about building up men now and degrading women. Whereas for a while it was okay, let's build the woman up, and then it was a lot of degrading men. I feel like that exists because I think that, why not keep men and women polarized against one another? I think so. If we're part of the shift in this, it should be a building of one another, right? Versus you suck or you don't. I think it's always, the pendulum is always swinging in the extreme, and I think what I'm hearing from us is it needs to be a mutual build, a mutual acknowledgement, a mutual sharing, a mutual reciprocation. And the thing is this, the mutual reciprocation, it looks different for everybody. Your love language may be gifts and his is like physical touch or quality time. That creates harmony within your dynamic. It's not always about extreme balance where everything's okay, you work, I pay this bill, you pay that bill. It could be he's paying all the bills and you cook and you make home feel like the best safe haven in the world. Right? Or hey, I hate doing the dishes. Okay, well, you're filling my love tank by let me cook and you clean that kitchen. you know. But I think that if we just stick to or can focus on shifting the language around mutual build and reminding ourselves that we are humans that have self-esteem that can go up and down. Like he said, it's not always about the finance. Life can hit, money can drop. Does this person have any type of emotional IQ? You know, and awareness. Like there's so much that yes, I love that. That's reciprocity is what makes the world go round. Like I think that's where the conversation always goes back to, because it's the one-sided relationships that most of us are in, or approaching life in, which is why I think there's also like so much singleness right now, you know.
And I love this. Elder Brown says a couple things. You can make a lot of money and have a lot of debt is relative.
Yep.
And then she also says we can make six figures together. So I think it's all about perspective. It's all about attitude. Listen, I love the comment and the engagement in the chat. Again, I'm trying to really land this plane. So let me do this here. We got Elder Brown here. I think I saw Donald Robinson. I don't know if he's still here. I know Mika. I believe she's still here, and all of you who are with us. So I'm going to ask this question to the panel, but I really want to hear from those of you in the chat as well. Okay. So here's the question. What would you say to someone who feels like, or they say, I'm waiting on God? And what they say is, you know, if God doesn't tell me that if you know, if God doesn't say to Carrie that Irish white friend of hers is her husband, she's like, oh no, it can't be him. I gotta hear the audible voice of God, right? If God doesn't say this woman is my wife, if I don't hear the audible voice of God, they're not the one. Or if this person doesn't validate it, if this person doesn't confirm it, I can't move forward. And they keep passing on potential partners. So what would you say to this person about how they can balance faith, wisdom, personal responsibility, and just the inward witness? Whether or not somebody confirms, likes that person or not. Let me say this last thing and I'm going to let you all speak. I was watching a podcast today. I forget their names right now. You would know them if I called their names. But here's the point. The wife said her family did not like her husband. She said they didn't like him. And if I would have listened to them, we wouldn't be married today. They've been married for years. So I want to hear from the panel, but I also want to hear from the chat really quick. I want to talk about this again. In essence, what do you say to the person who says, I'm waiting on God? If I don't hear the audible voice of God that says, this person is my spouse, I'm not moving forward. Or if my mentor, my friend doesn't co-sign on this, they're not the one. How can we balance faith, wisdom, and personal responsibility when it comes to choosing a mate? I want to hear from everybody. Your thoughts.
If they say they're waiting on God, it's an out. Listen, man. If I go down my list of women saying, "Hey, man, God said you was my husband," God never revealed that to me, and I'm supposed to be the one doing the announcing. So I'm not. Listen, I'm a believer, but I frown on people who every time has to wait on God to make a decision. I'm just saying, like, how many times do you have to pray about the same thing? Like, you think God didn't hear you day one for that prayer? You got to go 20 times into the closet to continue praying on the same situation? You just don't want to make an executive decision in your life. You got to make the decision. You got to stop sabotaging yourself and overthinking about a decision. And that's what happens a lot with balancing it out. Like sometimes we just too churchy, too religious, not say churchy. We too religious, and we're using God as a crutch to not make the decision for our life because we're scared. So you got to be able to just say, you know what, hey, I'm making a decision on this. Yep, I do like you. Nope, I don't want to be with you. Just say it. Tell the person. Like, if God told you to be with the person, all right, that means you're going to do everything possible to make it happen. But 2 months later, oh, we done. Are you done with the person? Because it wasn't God who said it. Is hey, you in that moment you felt good, and now you don't feel good no more because something happened that you didn't like. And if I'm gonna just say this, if you feel that God told you to do it, once at that moment, you should already be locked in on the covenant of being married to that person. That's how I feel.
Let me, before Carrie or Misa get in here, I want to read this comment because I've got one of our scholars in here. They say there's no marriage in heaven. It's for this world and mankind. We move until the Spirit says stop. You move how you desire and ask God's guidance. You submit to God, and He will not leave you out. So I wanted to read that comment there. Faith without works is dead. Cannot wait on God and not moving. Mika says
There
the
it
person
is.
you choose is your choice. God is way too sovereign to be bothered with who we date. Ooh, really? Okay. Just some of the comments. Okay, Carrie, Misi, what are your all's thoughts?
Nisi, go first because I just lost my train of thought.
Okay. I'll let you talk. We've been going, but I love what the comments are saying. Here's my complete perspective on this. Now, is the only real relationships. I mean, the relationships we don't have a choice in, right? Our family that we were born into, and if you conceive a child, that child. Anybody else is a choice. And I think that if we can remember that, I love what she said about God being sovereign. We put way too much on God. On God said, or the devil. The devil said, the God said. No, that, like you said, it's a crutch. It can be in the way of you choosing what you need for yourself. Fear. A lot of us don't want to get things wrong, right? So, you have the people coming up. God said, you're my wife, you're this, you're that. No, we just don't want to get it wrong. That even speaks back to the beginning question. Are people approaching people? Well, if they can say, God told me you're my wife, then that might mitigate some rejection, because now this woman's spirit might be a little flared up, like, oh my gosh, I've been praying for this. Let me actually give him a chance. It's a little manipulative. And so I think that if we can really just remove that, okay, and really check in with ourselves. Do I like this person? Something's drawing me to them. And be real about that. Relationships, like he said, there's no marriage in heaven. So you get to choose who you're going to do life with, and you can win with that person, you can lose with them. But to put God all up in it and say, God said this, God said that, been down that road. There's more to it than that, and I think we can get lost in that because it feels good. It gives you the feels. It just, when you can be on that same page with somebody and that's where you're at. But at the end of the day, the only relationships you get to choose it, and God will back it. So your faith is for you. Your faith is for you. Your faith gives you the strength and empowers you to navigate this world. Everybody has a narrow path, and there are some people that are meant to walk that path with you. And it doesn't mean that every single person you meet, oh, God said this, you got to be with me. Take that out of your equation. God gave you will for a reason. So a lot of us we grew up with a big imagination.
Somebody says sometimes those small whispers are God speaking to us, but we are looking for a big, loud bang.
I agree.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
Yeah.
I do believe we need to acknowledge God in all things. However, let it not be a crutch. And then I'm sure many of you saw it, but I think it's worth reading as well. One comment says, "I wish I would have waited on God. I was naive and in heat. Horrible combo. My ex-husband bought me a new car 7 days after he met me. I just knew he was the one. I was wrong." And I think people who say God said are using it to their benefit is either just to get you or to blame God if it doesn't work out? Can we talk about trying to not fornicate because my friend thinks that's hard? Well, listen, I'm gonna ask them to go back and listen to part 2, because we did talk about, abstaining from sex as a Christian while dating, and there was a lot of great commentary there. And I want to also try to land this plane. Okay, we want to hear from Carrie here.
Yeah, so I absolutely agree. It's a crutch. People use that as a crutch to not walk into their purpose, to not make decisions, and they want to hold God accountable as opposed to holding themselves accountable. At the end of the day, you have to know yourself, and you have to be confident in who God has made you before you can say, I'm just going to wait on God. No. Like right now in my season, like being a little personal, I don't want to say I'm waiting on God, because I am still dating, but I'm at this point, my focus is on my career and where I'm going in life. And if that person comes along or somebody comes along and wants to pursue me, I'm going to also go that route as well. But that's not my focus right now. My focus is over here because I know what I need right now and I know what God wants in me. So I'm moving there. So you have to understand, if somebody, not you specifically, sorry, but people have to understand that if you're waiting on God, you're not sitting stagnant. You are going on dates because you have to know what you like and what you don't like. You can't just, like you said, you can't have somebody say to you, God told me you're my husband, or God told me you're my wife. You do that, you end up in some serious predicaments. I actually used to work for a domestic violence organization. A lot of those type of things happened because of that, because a lot of women did not know who they were, and they ended up in these spaces, in these places, because of that factor, because they were being groomed into those spaces and places, if that makes sense. So, but I do feel like if you know who you are and you have that trust in God, you're not going to let you take the wrong route at the end of the day. So yeah, that's my 2 cents.
So listen, I love the comments and I love the commentary. I'm going to try to land the plane with this final question here. Somebody said that we got him up late and you try to spirit by the spirit. So listen, I think I'm gonna end it. I think I'm gonna end the night on this question right here, which is, as we talk about moving forward, right? Building forward, finding love and love finding us, right? Meeting that prize, and being clear and decisive about them and making those executive decisions. When you think about love and relationships, the question is this. Listen, I'm a preacher, all right? I'm a preacher. But here's the thing, Mika, you can't do that to me. You know why? The chat put questions in there, and to be inclusive, we wanted to take the questions that were put in the chat. So don't do that to me, Mika. Don't do that. But thank you for hanging with us. We're getting out of here on this one. When you think about love and relationship and finding the one, right, or being found, do you think love and relationships are more about timing, preparation, or something else? Speak to that. I want to hear from everybody. We can hear from the chat as well. When you think about finding love, and when you think about love and relationships, right, do you think it's more about timing, preparation, a combination of something else? What are your thoughts? I want to hear from you as we get ready to land this plane tonight. No, Pentecostal, not Baptist, Pentecostal. But listen, but when you're a preacher, you know you got multiple closes, so this just comes natural.
You said timing or prepper. I feel like it's kind of both. But I think timing. I feel like timing is, let's say, more important. But I see how timing can be tricky, especially if you have adopted self-sabotage to buy time, leeway. So I would say it's definitely a combination, though, because you want to be preparing. Someone could decide, or I've been through divorce or really bad relationships and decide, you know what, I ain't rushing into nothing, right? Like there needs to be things in place. But even if you are a person who's like, okay, I need some seasons, how are you preparing for that thing to go to the next level? Are you prepared within yourself and tangibly for it to go to another level? So I'd say both are very important in my opinion.
So do
I
you think it's
agree.
about timing, preparation, or something else?
I agree it's a combination. It has to be a combination of all of it, because the thing is, if you, like Nisi said, if you're walking out of a divorce, you've got to do some healing before you walk into another relationship. And what was the other combinations? I'm sorry.
Timing, preparation, or something else that you may think personally about it.
Yes. And then preparation, that's a whole nother thing that comes with like maturity. Like you might not be in a space where you are prepared for somebody for to sacrifice for somebody else, because that's what a relationship is part of it is sacrifice. So you might still be in a selfish season. Everybody goes through a selfish season. They have to, so they understand who they are. So it has to be a combination of both the timing and that piece, because if not, it's just one or the other is going to fall apart. It's going to fall apart.
Yeah, I'm with the ladies. It is a combo. I think prep is the best part of it. You got to prep yourself to be ready for marriage, ready for a committed relationship, and you can find love prior to the preparation and the time. But I think for that true love, where you know, hey, this is gonna last and end into a committed relationship. I think in this season of life, um, preparation to prepare yourself to become one with another person is way more better than just falling in love.
Mm.
So that time of you getting there, of them investing that time with you as you prep and they prep, and you prepare yourself to be one, I think that's the way it should go. So like it's the best way to say it, like, pick late. Don't pick don't You pick early, you pick wrong.
Mm.
So, take your time, build yourself, maximize your singleness, and become the best version of you to provide the best you to the next person or to your person.
Just a couple comments real quick. Timing, but definitely be preparing to be your best self. That comes with being the prize, and then a combination of all things: who you talk to, when you talk, why you're talking, where and why you're talking needs to be clear. Even how communication takes preparation to be effective. So just a couple of the comments there in the chat. So listen, as we are approaching 5,000 feet here and getting ready to land the plane, um, I really want to thank you all for being with us tonight. I want to thank all of our panelists. Just a little transparency. When I'm going to tell them this here in a moment when we go backstage, but I'll say this publicly as well. When I initially reached out to all of them and asked them to be a part of this, it wasn't a series, right? So it was just, hey, would you be a part of this in November? And I felt like there was more meat on the bone, if you will, an old phrase, old saying, and wanted to continue the conversation. And they graciously agreed to be a part of it. So I want to publicly thank each of them. I mean, they're all professionals. They're all busy. I won't start talking about what they do, but if you follow them on social media, they've all got things going, and it's just a commitment, right? In life, people have to make commitments, and they have to. Sean said earlier, executive decision. Yes, I want to be a part of this. No, I don't want to be a part of this. Hey, yes, I'm going to carve out time in my schedule, right, to do this or not. So I want to publicly thank you all. It's not lost upon me. The commitment that you made is not lost upon me. Your yes, right? And I want to say thank you. I appreciate that. I also want to say thank you as the audience joining us. I mean, we would have had a good conversation, but you being here helps it to take it higher and to the next level. And us seeing feedback, right? It helps the energy and your comments as well. So thank you. If tonight's your first night, thank you. If you've been with us for 2 sessions. Thank you. If you've been joining us for the entire ride, I want to say thank you so much just for you being here. And again, this is not going to be the end, right? So as I mentioned to you earlier, the whole purpose of this space is we want to see individuals get married, stay married, right, and be happily married. So while this series is coming to a conclusion, right, we're going to still have more relationship topics coming up in the next few weeks, next few months. So you'll be seeing more. So I also, as I was sitting here, I'm getting notification that certain people are subscribing. And I haven't really done that throughout the series, but let me say this. I would ask you, if you are watching us on YouTube, if you would be so kind to hit the subscribe button. I don't got to preach to you. You know why it's important, okay? So if you would be kind, hit the subscribe button. I would be greatly appreciative of you for doing that. And so let me make sure I'm saying everything I want to say. Again, we will continue this journey. And again, thank you just for being here. And even if somebody wasn't able to watch it tonight, here, share the link with them and, tell them, hey, go watch this conversation. And they are saying encore, encore. So what that means is, Carrie, you're not done. Missy, you're not done. Sonia, you're not done. So they not done. I may give them a break. I might give y'all a break for a little bit, and then down the road, pull y'all back in. So y'all just know y'all can't get rid of me, all right? So again, thank you everybody for being with us. We really appreciate it. Have a great night and have a great remaining of the week, and we will see you down the road. Thank you so much. Y'all take care.